What is going on, everybody? Slim and Samo's halftime Betapalooza. I guarantee will be more entertaining than that first half, right, Slim?
3 points. Every week it's worse than the next week. There was 21 points in last week's game, 12-9. Now 3-0 at the half. Thursday Night Football, Amazon, you spent all this money to get all these points. I think, I don't even know what the average is of how much money they've spent to the points that have been scored in the last 2 weeks.
They're paying about $20,000 or $20 million a point right now. It's somewhere in that range. It's absolutely ridiculous. Real quick, really excited to announce this. Amazon granted us live highlights from the first half. So before we jump into our bets, let's show the first half highlights. That's Arlington Park. They showed it once. That was the most exciting thing that happened. They showed Arlington Park during the broadcast. All right. We're going to get the highlights out of here. Wow. That was brutal, dude. I don't even know what to say. That was atrocious.
You're right. Seeing Arlington Park there and that these great horse racing tracks of our younger days are getting swallowed up by NFL stadiums, SoFi Stadium with Hollywood Park, and now Chicago looking to build on top of Arlington Park. The cemetery of horse racing has spawned a new age of NFL online wagering, and we're just making this monopolistic NFL even bigger than ever as it takes over horse racing.
I am shocked. Like Dr. Tang brings us up. How is last week's game better than this? That really is the question. Last week's game was a model of ineptitude from two teams that could not get out of their own way. And you think that, it's going to be better this week. It'll be fine. Washington had 14 first or second down plays. Before that last drive, of those 14 plays, 11 were runs. Throw the football early in the downs. Just throw it early. You're going to have more success. Stop running into these 8-man boxes and throwing against third down blitzes. That's what Carson Wentz can't do. It's just ridiculous that you still have this shit happening. All that being said,
I think Wentz is injured. He has not looked well. They say the shoulder is hurt. And then Al Michaels all of a sudden talked about some bicep strains. So I had not heard that. So that was a new one. I just thought it was the shoulder that I had read earlier in the week. But Wentz does not look good. They're trying to run the ball a ton. I think they're trying to keep the ball out of his hands because of that shoulder.
I agree with you. But the issue is, if you want to make it easier for Carson Wentz, don't be wildly predictable. The worst thing you can do in the NFL is be wildly predictable. The worst thing in any sport you can do is be wildly predictable, because then everyone knows what you are doing. That's exactly what we're seeing from this Washington offense. Chicago, to their credit, came out and threw the ball early in downs in those first two drives. That's why they moved the football, because Washington was in there stuffing the box, expecting run. Chicago comes out, does the exact opposite. They're able to move the football down the field. And then you have a helmet interception, an awful fourth down and one run just right up the gut. And all of a sudden, it's 3-0 at half. And I look over here at the second half lines. It's a pick 'em, -110 either way. The total is currently sitting at 17.5 with the under juiced under sitting at +100. I think Washington's the better team. We're going to play Washington -110 second half. I don't trust the under, because I still see a way that this thing gets out of hand from stupidity and they put up 21 points in the second half. So second half bet, we're going Washington -110 pick 'em.
Wow. I am confused because I don't know if I could lean on Wentz. He's been amazing on Thursday Night Football, 6-0 in his career. But tonight, I don't think Carson Wentz looks like himself. So I don't know, leaning on that shoulder right now, a little bit weary of it.
I was really hoping we get plus a half point. I wanted Washington plus a half point, essentially meaning if they win the game by 3, then we cash. This gives us a push if it's win by 3. The total just ticked up to 18. You're seeing a ton of over money coming in on the total, which is wild to me, because they've got 3 points in the first half. But the reason I didn't want to touch the under pregame to this was because you could see some funky stuff happening, and you could make an argument that the total should be hit higher here. Like Chicago inside the red zone twice, Washington inside the red zone once, 3 total points, could easily have been 21 if they all converted. Pretty brutal. Yeah, I agree. Amazon owes us. What do you think Kirk Herbstreit is thinking right now?
Al Michaels did not come out of retirement. I don't know what Al Michaels was. He in retirement, or is he doing NBC or ABC? I don't even remember anymore.
He was doing NBC.
He was doing
Herbstreit.
NBC. So I don't even know. Amazon got him with Kirk Herbstreit, and they're like, there will be points eventually. So I don't know when we're going to see him. Maybe next week. I think they have a better game. I think the Saints are playing. So these teams that they got the last 2 weeks, horrible. But let's talk about some games that are going to have some big scoring. I got one I really want to talk about.
All right, let's go to both of these games. Actually, I think are going to have huge totals. Let's go first to the game of the week here: Buffalo in Kansas City. Buffalo revenge game, laying 2.5 right now. Total sitting, last I looked, at 52. Well, I'm not sure if it's still sitting there. Slim, you like a receiver over prop for the underdog here. MVS, going right back to it. Tell us about him.
Yeah. Looking at these two games that I have bets on this weekend, they are both over and under the line of 50 points. So I'm going to start out with the game of the week, the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs, going with the home team here and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He had 8 targets last week, his best game in the season. It just looked like him and Mahomes were clicking. His yards per attempt have been up over 11 and 12 yards the last 2 weeks. So he's getting the ball down the field. And as I said, on Monday Night Football, in that crazy big comeback they had against the Raiders, just looked like he was clicking with Mahomes for the first time this year. The Bills cornerbacks are inexperienced outside of their top corner, Saron Neal. They lost Micah Hyde, so they're susceptible to a bigger play. And if Mahomes is going to be looking for MVS down the field during the game, I'm hoping he can get a couple of those big plays and clear this 45.5 receiving yard total in a high-scoring game. As I said, I've seen it as high as 54, the over-under total.
Yeah, right now sitting on the board at 54, 2 beaten up secondaries in this game. Kansas City has not been able to stop people through the air. And you mentioned Buffalo. Poyer's still playing. One of the 2 safeties, the other is out for the year. You've got Travarius White, who's out for the year. You're starting essentially a 7th and 2nd round picks at the other 2 corners. 54 seems light to me. I mean, I hate taking overs when the total is this high. But both of these teams are going to go up and down the field, and the dynamic quarterbacks that they have should allow points to happen. So I like MVS there. Hopefully we can get one big strike and get him over. The other game, also 2 quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Geno Smith, currently the number 1 rated PFF quarterback, Geno Smith. 51 is the total, 2nd highest total of the week. You're going there to try and find another player prop.
Yeah, this is the perfect setup once again for a high-scoring game. If you're following the Seahawks, you know 2 weeks ago, against the Lions, they combined for 93 total points in that game. So this is the same exact makeup of that game. The Seahawks are the 3rd worst ranked defense in the league, and the worst ranked defense in the league, according to PFF, are the Arizona Cardinals. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. And you know, Kyler Murray to Hollywood Brown has been one of the cool connections so far this year. If you saw, they both came into the stadium with these crazy lime green outfits on, and they scored a touchdown together. Brown is averaging over 102 yards receiving his last 3 weeks. So I teased this down to only 65 yards. So he should be able to clear that down. He is 6th in the NFL in receiving. And when it comes to Kyler Murray, he's only 15th in the league in passing yards right now. So I'm a bit more worried about this part of the parlay, but he has passed for 314 and 377 against the Rams and Raiders. So he can get over this number. And the Seahawks just gave up 378 yards passing 2 weeks ago to Jared Goff. So if Kyler Murray is worth anything, if Goff could pass for 378 on this team, I'm hoping Kyler Murray can go over that number. I think it's 250. I think it's actually 255. Not
here's the benefit of this bet. Kyler Murray is going to have to either put up points early or put up points late, because Geno Smith and the Seahawks will put up points against that defense, which is absolutely awful from Arizona. So you're going to get passing yards from Kyler Murray. I'll double check the total here in a second here, but either 255 or 225. I like the over either way. I don't see how Kyler Murray doesn't end up having to throw the ball early or late to get over this total and to be able to get them in front of it. This is crazy. Right now, top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL and DVOA, Tua and Geno. Who would have bet that going into week number 6 in the NFL?
I didn't want to chalk out and pick Geno in this spot, so I went with Kyler and Hollywood Brown on that end of the ball because I just feel more comfortable with that connection that they're just not going to be able to stop them. And also Connor is out. James Conner, the running back. I know Eno Benjamin. I think Eno Benjamin is just better at catching the ball out of the backfield anyhow. So I think that's going to help with Kyler Murray, a lot of checkdowns to him. And they just won't be running the ball without James Conner pounding it in there.
I took the Seahawks +3 in this game. If you can get +3 again, I would recommend taking that. It's 2.5 right now. The full field goal for a team that I think will score at will at home, I'll take that every time. So I have Seahawks +3. Slim here taking Kyler Murray over, I think it's 255 passing yards, and Brown over 65 receiving yards for +135 as well. No touchdown in the second half. I couldn't find it. I know pregame it was 40-1. I had a couple friends who put it in 40-1 for no touchdown in this game. So we'll see if that's able to hit. Again, our best bet here for the second half, Washington. It's right now -105. So you can get a -105 for the second half. The total opened at 17. It's been bet all the way up to 19 now. So the 19 is the second half total. We are 4-1 on these second half bets. Hopefully we can move to 5-1 with Washington. We're also 4-1 on my best bets of the week here, and I am going to go to Pittsburgh, and I'm going to play a derivative of this game. I think that the Tampa Bay will be able to shut down this Pittsburgh offense. We saw them just put up 3 against the Buffalo's Bills defense, which I think is actually worse than Pittsburgh here. Last week against the Atlanta Falcons, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers allowed 15 points. All of that was scored in the second half in garbage time when they were trying to throw and come back against Tampa Bay. The Steelers total this week is 17.5 at home. The Steelers don't have anyone on defense that could turn the ball over without Mika Fitzpatrick or TJ Watt out of the game. So you can count out turnovers or defensive scores here for Pittsburgh. And Tom Brady doesn't turn the football over often anyway. So therefore, it's all up to the offense and rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett in his second career start against a very, very difficult and scheming defense that makes it wildly hard to throw the football downfield, which is something Pittsburgh doesn't do well anyway. This total is way too high. I've got Steelers under 7.5 for first half. I'm betting them under 17.5 for the game, and that will be the play of the week here. Look, I don't trust the -9 that you have to lay with Tampa, but this is a situation where I really trust Tampa's defense to be able to get the job done. That's why I love playing team totals in these situations versus laying the wood with a road favorite. Slim, what do you think about Pittsburgh trying to put points up this on Sunday?
They're not going to do it. I mean, I really do like the Tampa Bay defense. Todd Bowles, that's my man. As a Jets fan, Todd Bowles has done a great job with that defense. So Steelers, you got a guy in his second career start going under against a very experienced team, experienced defense, experienced offense with Brady. He got his wide receivers back. So even when Fournette's not going to be running the ball, they're going to be able to control the ball with those wide receivers that are coming back. Godwin, I think Julio's back, and obviously Mike Evans.
So this is one thing I want to talk about real quick. We talk about having multiple outs, having multiple sport books. FanDuel currently posted 21.5 for the second half total. Bovada currently posting 18 flat for the second half total. Bookmaker currently posting 19 for the second half total. Depending on what you like. If it's the over, play Bovada. If it's the under, play FanDuel. Find the best line you can. A 3.5 point difference is wild in a half of football when there's been 3 points scored. So make sure you have multiple outs, multiple books that you can play on and look for to make sure you get the best possible line. All right, we're about to kick off the second half here, Slim. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Wentz gets going and that shoulder was healed somehow in the locker room because they needed to do some kind of electroshock therapy to wake him up because he has to wake up if this game's going to have any chance of having some life. Let's leave it at that.
Our second half pick for the week, Washington -110 pick 'em. My play of the week, Steelers under 17.5 for the team total. Slim, 2 plays. Murray over 255 passing yards and Brown over 65 receiving yards, hitting at +135 and taking Marquez Valdez-Scantling over 45.5 receiving yards in that massive matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills. Thank you very much for joining us for this halftime show. Make sure you catch us tomorrow for Dudes Who Bet Daily for best bets across the sports and horse racing world at noon Eastern. We'll be back on Sunday. Slim, you got to join us on a Sunday. Come on, man, for best Dudes Who Bet Daily.
I will not be on the Sunday Dudes at Bet Daily, but tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern on the Dudes YouTube, on my Twitter, I'll be going through my Slim Pickens picks for week number 6. I'll review these 2 that I just gave out, and I'll have some other ones. Maybe something about Tom Brady. I got to try to work with this whole Pittsburgh Steelers thing. I feel like maybe touchdowns over with the Brady might be a way to play that Steelers angle as a prop bet. But I'll see you guys hopefully at 4 p.m. Eastern on the Dudes YouTube channel.
Don't worry. They ran it on first down, just like we'd expect. All right, guys, have a good one. Good luck with all your bets. Good luck with the racetrack tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern. Take care.
Peace.